When you think about animal activism, you probably think about this sort of thing. People shouting into megaphones, going onto farms in the middle of the night, and having confrontational debates.
It tastes the same. No, it doesn't.
If you're like most people, this all seems a bit much. Don't get me wrong, I have great respect for the people who are brave enough to do this sort of thing, and there's no doubt that it helps animals. But there's a lot of people who are just not cut out for this sort of thing. Not everybody has the righteous indignation of Joey Carbstrong, or the calm poise of Earthling Ed. There are a lot of people who are naturally pretty quiet, quite conflict averse, and really hate getting drawn into arguments. So can these people still help animals? Absolutely. This is Animal Activism for Introverts. One of the first pieces of research we did at Bryant Research was this report on quiet activism. We asked 1,000 people in the UK for their views on animal activism. Just 6% said that they had taken part in animal activism, with a further 17% saying that they had not taken part in animal activism but that they would like to. That means that we've only activated about 1/4 of potential animal activists. When we asked people why they hadn't been more involved in animal activism, 32% said that they didn't have enough time or resources, 29% said that they weren't a vegetarian or vegan, so felt that it wasn't their cause, but 56% said that they either didn't know enough, wouldn't be confident enough, or wouldn't be good at it. So we've got 3/4 of potential animal activists sitting on the bench and not really doing anything for animals. And that's mainly because they think that it requires a lot of skill or confidence or knowledge to do any animal activism. That's mostly because they have a specific idea of what animal activism looks like. But what if that idea is completely wrong? What if there are highly effective forms of animal activism that don't require megaphones or debates or confrontation at all? The protests and debates that happen in the vegan movement tend to be the most visible events, and so that's what people think of as animal activism. But these very extrovert-coded activities are far from the only thing that you can do to help animals. Our survey found that just 15% said that they'd be willing to take part in frontline activism, such as attending protests or marches, and 64% said that they would not be willing to do this. Compared to that 15%, 27% said that they would be willing to do online activism, such as sharing videos or other information on social media. 31% said that they would be willing to do so-called everyday activism, such as wearing animal advocacy fashion and putting up stickers. 39% said that they would be willing to do intimate social activism, such as talking to their immediate friends and family and hosting vegan dinner parties. And 41% said that they'd be willing to take part in charity activism, such as raising money to give to charities or volunteering. So for these other forms of activism compared to frontline activism, somewhere between 2 and 3 times as many people were willing to take part. In particular, it's encouraging to see so many people willing to take part in both charity activism and intimate social activism. We talk a lot on this channel about impactful charity activism and how the most impactful animal advocacy charities can save about 4 animals to the dollar. The ultimate engagement with charity activism is what's called earn to give. This is probably one of the most impactful things that an individual can do to help animals. Some charity activists make it their life's mission to secure high-earning careers so that they can earn more money to give to animal charities. If you want to see an example of an inspiring person who does this, check out the interview with Felix Werderman on my channel. Some people find this a little bit unintuitive. Are you really doing that much to help animals if all you're doing is giving money? Well, yes, you are actually. In fact, you're probably doing more for animals than somebody who works in animal advocacy in a paid role. And here's why. Let's say that option A is working in a paid role for a vegan charity. Now, if you weren't doing that job, the organisation would be paying somebody else to do that job. Unless you're volunteering, you're not actually adding resources to that organisation. You might be making a positive difference, but it's equal to the amount better that you're doing the job than the next best person they would have hired would have done the job. So it's likely pretty marginal. And let's say that option B is working in a well-paid role, such as a business consultant, and giving, say, 10% of your earnings to effective animal charities. Well, if you weren't doing that, those charities would just have less money. It's also pretty unlikely that the next business consultant who would be doing your job would also be giving 10% to effective animal charities, so in that case, you actually are adding to the movement quite a lot. It might feel unintuitive, but option B is going to help a lot more animals than option A here. If you're somebody who cares about reducing animal suffering and you're in a professional career, or you soon will be, the animal movement needs you. There really just aren't many resources in the animal movement currently, and with more resources we could do a lot more to help more animals. Personally, I give hundreds of pounds a month to effective animal charities, but there really aren't that many people doing this. In a sense, this seems like an opportunity, because I know that there are so many vegans who are definitely passionate enough to be doing this. If you're a passionate vegan and you care about helping animals, but you're not really the loud activist type, charitable activism could be for you. By earning to give substantial amounts of money to effective animal charities, you can make a huge difference for animals. You can also volunteer your time through structured platforms like the Humane League's Fast Action Network, and you can do that by joining me each week for Vegan 2.0. Intimate social activism involves cooking and hanging out, and then recommending short, non-graphic YouTube videos to your immediate friends and family. You can make this an occasion with your parents or your siblings or your friend. Tell them, hey, it'd be nice to spend some time together. Would you like to come and cook this meal and eat with me? Ideally, what you want to do is go with them to buy ingredients, then cook together, and then eat together and enjoy the food together. You want to be making genuinely tasty and genuinely easy dishes only here, because the point is to leave them with something that they know they enjoy and they know that they could make. So now is not the time to show off your niche tastes or your advanced cooking skills. For me, I would probably make a nice Beyond Burger with all the dressings and fancy chips in an air fryer. This is mainly because I'm a genuinely terrible cook and I would very likely mess up anything more advanced. But again, you want it to be easy for them to recreate. Choose a dish you know this person's going to enjoy, and then ask them if they're enjoying it, and if they enjoyed it, to have them affirm it to you and to themselves. You might not want to dump on this pleasant day of cooking by talking about factory farming a lot, so here's what you can do instead. At the end of the interaction, once they've bought, prepared, cooked, and enjoyed vegan food, you can say to them, "Thanks so much for hanging out, I really appreciate you doing this with me. To really show you how much this means to me, I'd love to send you a 10-minute YouTube video. It's a cartoon, it's nothing gruesome, but it's just going to explain in a friendly way why this was so important to me." And then you hit them with the Dominion link. No, I'm just kidding. I really recommend these videos on YouTube by Kurzgesagt. They're cartoon style, they're not too long, so they're not a big commitment to ask somebody to watch, and based on the comments, they're pretty compelling to a general non-vegan audience. If you can get the person to agree to engage with something more substantial, like Earthlings or Land of Hope and Glory, then bonus points. But it's probably going to be easier to get them to agree to a 10-15 minute YouTube video, at least at first. Currently, 3/4 of potential animal activists are inactive. They're mostly inactive because they think of animal activism as being frontline activism, and so they think that they don't have the time or the expertise or skills to engage in it. But compared to frontline activism, between 2 and 3 times as many people are willing to take part in charity activism or intimate social activism. Through charity activism, getting your head down and earning significant money to donate to effective animal charities is one way that you can make a huge difference for animals. Through intimate social activism, like cooking together, and then recommending short YouTube videos, you can plant a seed and help start the change for your immediate friends and family. We need more animal activists, even the introverted kind. One way that we can achieve this is by letting the animal movement know that activism is not always loud. Sometimes the best activism can be quiet. This is Chris Bryant, PhD. Cheers.